Hi, this is Andrea Wilson from XSiteProDesigns.com. Today we're going to learn how to wrap text around an image in XSitePro. This image here, this little picture of a lake, has been dropped into this XSitePro web page without any editing, and the text is therefore not wrapped around it. So to wrap text around an image very simply, you're going to right-click on the image, choose Image Properties, go to Attributes, Alignment, Horizontal, and choose where you want to place or align the image, left, center, or right. We're going to choose left and OK, and you can see that now the text is wrapped around the image, but there is no margin or padding around the image, so the text is very close to it. To correct this situation, you're going to right-click on the image again and go to Attributes, Space, Horizontal, and we'll put about 10 pixels in here and give this image some breathing space with the text. Say OK, and now we have some white space, but the white space is now on the left and the right, with the horizontal and vertical spacing in the image properties. It works on both sides of the image at a time. So when it's horizontal, it's right and left. When it's vertical, it's top and bottom. And if you put something in all of them, then there's a space on all four sides. You can't do just one out of the four sides at a time. To do that, we'd have to use some CSS. So I'm just going to remove that horizontal spacing, and now again you can see it's up tight against the text. I'm going to go into the Source tab, and the style tag is already here in this HTML element called image img, because XSitePro is using it for the width and the height. If it weren't there, if the width and height weren't there and the style tag wasn't there, then you would create it. You would just type in style equals and put a quotation mark and then put in your margin. So I'm just going to add the margin to the end of what's already there. So I'm going to put a semicolon, which is how we divide each of the attributes. And then I'm going to put margin, and we want the margin to be on the right, so margin right, colon, and then the number of pixels, and that's 10. I usually put a semicolon at the end in case I want to put another element. It's just good practice, and then you always have the quotation marks to close it. So now if we look here, we can see that we have a 10 pixel margin on the right hand side, but not on the left hand side, which looks much nicer. Now another way to accomplish this is to use a table. So I'm going to put a table down here and show you how to do that. Up here I'm going to select the table, and I'm going to make it a one row, two column table. So you can see that's what it says. When I choose that, it says 1 by 2, and now I've dropped it into the text between the two paragraphs here. I'm going to put my cursor inside the left cell, and you'll notice that the cursor is sitting a little bit in from the edge, and that's because there's a non-breaking space in this cell. Every cell in a table comes with a non-breaking space in it because that holds the table cell open. But I'm going to use my image to hold the cell open, so I'm going to remove the non-breaking space by just backspacing with my keyboard. Then I'm going to drag my mountain lake in there, and while I've got the image selected, I'm going to right-click, go to Image Properties, and make sure that there's no horizontal spacing on there. All right, because I don't want that now when I'm in the table, and I'm also going to go and remove it from the CSS for demonstration purposes. And then I'm going to go and click in the right column, and in the right column select that cell, and I'm going to make the width 10 pixels to match what we were doing with the CSS. Now then we want to actually size the whole table. So go back in to the table, right click and choose table properties instead of cell properties, and we're going to make the table 160 pixels wide because our image is 150 and our space is 10, so that's 160. While I'm in there, I'm also going to remove the cell spacing that is automatically added to any table in XSitePro and the border of 1 pixel. Always make sure you change them to 0 and don't just leave them blank. And then say OK. And now the border has disappeared. You have a very faint gray line around the table, but that isn't visible when you publish. That's just for your purposes so you can see your table cells in XSitePro while you're editing. Now while I have that table selected, I'm going to use the justify right and justify left options up here in the toolbar. So if I justify right, then it flips over to the right. If I justify left, it flips to the left, which is actually where I want it because my space here is on the right. So there we have it. You have the image now in the table cell, and it's the table cell that's doing the spacing for you instead of the CSS or the horizontal spacing that comes with the image properties. I hope you enjoyed that video and look forward to helping you some more.